Please video like and subscribe this channel. The repairman had always believed that life was best lived in quiet repetition. He was the sort of man whose talents went unnoticed, whose presence barely registered beyond the whirring machines he tended to. In the sprawling metropolis of Aurelia Prime, a city of endless towers and sky bridges illuminated by neon constellations, he was a cog in the machinery of everyday life, silent, precise, and unnoticed. That morning, he found himself standing before the Emperor's palace, a fortress of shimmering crystal and steel, where the sun reflected off the towers like fractured diamonds. He had been summoned not for any crime, nor for any great skill, but to repair a malfunctioning console in the royal viewing gallery. An honor, the receptionist had said curtly, barely looking up from her datapad. He stepped through the enormous doors and was greeted by corridors of light that pulsed in gentle waves. The air smelled faintly of ozone and jasmine. As he navigated the passageways, he realized this would be no ordinary repair job. Rumors of the Emperor's daughter had circulated in the city for decades. She was said to be beautiful beyond belief, intelligent beyond measure, and shrouded in a secrecy that even the palace guards could not pierce. Most considered her a myth. Yet today, the repairman's assignment would place him directly in her presence, and nothing would be the same again. He entered the gallery, expecting only a malfunctioning console. The room was enormous, lined with polished obsidian walls and suspended crystal chandeliers that refracted the sunlight into spectral arcs across the floor. At the center, seated on a throne-like chair beside a panoramic window overlooking the city, was a figure that made him pause. She was breathtaking. Not merely in the conventional sense, though her eyes shimmered like liquid silver and her hair fell like dark waves over her shoulders. There was an aura about her, subtle but undeniable, a presence that drew attention not by force, but by the quiet certainty of its command. She looked at him, and for a moment, the entire universe seemed to narrow to the distance between them. "Ah," she said, her voice melodic yet firm. "You must be the repairman." He nodded, suddenly aware of how unremarkable he probably seemed beside her. "Yes, I was sent to fix the console." She gestured to the chair beside her. "Sit. I would like to observe your work." He hesitated, instinctively following orders, yet every instinct screamed at him that this was extraordinary. Seating himself beside her, he opened his toolkit, but even the familiar tools felt alien under her gaze. As he worked, she watched silently, her presence heavy yet comforting, as if she were both a guardian and a force of nature. "Do you know why I asked you here?" she asked suddenly, her voice slicing through the hum of machinery. I was only told to repair the console," he admitted, trying to focus on the blinking lights and humming circuits. She tilted her head, a small smile playing on her lips. "Most would not notice, but you see the details others miss. There is a precision in your hands, a care that is rare. It is why I summoned you." He didn't know how to respond. He had never been praised for anything beyond the bare minimum of competence. And yet, as her words sank in, he felt something stir inside him, something dangerous and exhilarating. The console whirred and beeped, its display finally stabilizing under his hands. "There," he said, exhaling. "That should do it." She leaned closer, her eyes studying the lights dancing across the panel. "Indeed. Well done. But that is only the beginning." Before he could ask what she meant, the floor beneath them vibrated. The gallery's panoramic window glowed with an unnatural light, as if the city outside had suddenly ignited. He stood instinctively, but she placed a hand on his arm. "Do not panic," she said, but her eyes betrayed concern. "They've come for me." "Who?" he began, but she rose swiftly, gesturing for him to follow. They moved through hidden corridors and secret passageways known only to a select few. Along the way, she explained the danger in clipped, urgent tones. "The palace is not as safe as it appears," she said. There are factions within the court, those who would see me removed. And beyond the palace, there are forces far older, far more dangerous than any human politics. I am not just the Emperor's daughter. I am the key to something the galaxy has long sought. The repairman's mind struggled to keep pace. He had come to fix a console, now he was being told he was part of a galactic struggle. But there was no time to question it. Shadows moved in the corridors, sleek and silent. Mechanical drones, guardian enforcers of the palace, now turned against them, cut off their path. The repairman's hands, trained for delicate machinery, became instruments of survival. He dismantled a drone in seconds, using precision and improvisation he didn't know he possessed. She watched, an approving nod the only acknowledgement, before pulling him deeper into the labyrinthine passages. Finally, they reached a chamber unlike any other. The walls shimmered with an energy that seemed alive, and at the center floated a crystalline sphere pulsating with light. She approached it reverently, placing a hand on its surface. "This is what they want," she said, voice trembling slightly. "It contains knowledge, power, and the balance of many worlds. And now, so much depends on you." "Me?" he asked, incredulous. "I'm just a repairman. I don't know anything about." "Exactly," she interrupted. "That is why you can help. They would not suspect you. You see things with clear eyes, unaffected by ambition or fear. That is rare. That is why you were chosen." He swallowed hard, but instinct and courage overtook fear. He reached out, his fingers brushing the surface of the sphere. Light surged into him, and for a brief moment, he saw visions of distant galaxies, civilizations rising and falling, and the intricate web of choices that shaped the universe. This is incredible," he whispered. "Yes," she said softly. "And now it is our responsibility to protect it." Their escape was harrowing. The drones, alert and relentless, pursued them through the palace's secret routes. Yet the repairman's ingenuity, combined with her mysterious abilities, allowed them to outmaneuver every threat. By the time they emerged into the moonlit gardens, the city below seemed tranquil, unaware of the events that had unfolded above. Breathless, she turned to him. "You've done more than repair a console today," she said, a rare smile illuminating her features. "You've altered the course of destiny." He shook his head, disbelief etched on his face. I never asked for any of this. I'm just a repairman. I fix things. That's all I know how to do." "And yet," she said, her gaze piercing, "sometimes fixing things is exactly what the universe needs. You see clearly, you act without hesitation, and that, believe it or not, is the rarest power of all." The repairman felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had spent his life thinking that being ordinary meant being invisible. But here, beside the Emperor's mysterious daughter, he realized that even ordinary people could do extraordinary things. One moment, one decision, could ripple across the stars. Will they come after us again?" he asked, finally finding his voice. "Perhaps," she said. "But now we have each other, and that changes everything." For a long moment, they stood in silence, gazing at the city lights. He realized that nothing would ever be the same. The hum of the neon towers, the distant whir of skycars, and the endless expanse of the universe suddenly felt like a canvas waiting for new colors. "I never imagined my life would lead me here," he admitted quietly. "Life is strange that way," she replied, stepping closer. "Sometimes, you sit beside the most mysterious person in the galaxy, and everything changes. Nothing is ever the same again." He looked at her, truly looked, and saw not just the daughter of an emperor, but someone who trusted him, believed in him, and saw in him something he had never known existed. For the first time in his life, the repairman understood that the universe was vast, unpredictable, and beautiful, and that he was no longer just a quiet observer. The night stretched above Aurelia Prime, full of promise and peril. And as the repairman walked beside the emperor's mysterious daughter, he knew that whatever came next, he would face it. Not as a solitary figure, but as someone chosen by fate, ready to embrace the extraordinary. The repairman had come to fix a console. He left with the knowledge that even the most ordinary life could become the most extraordinary story ever told. And in that moment, he understood the truth: nothing would ever be the same again.